while we're doing that, all right, so while we're waiting for the ad break to finish, I'll show you my cool Levski coin that I got. Hang on there. There we go. One of these. So you could almost see the coin in there, but the hard plastic case is reflecting it. We got this bitchin' Admiral card. Very, very, very cool. We got a couple of other neat bits and bobs, like this Wicklow item for special bar citizen attendees only. A little scratch off, you get this free little hologram, cool little thing. You want this? You get, you buy. So yeah. We got a couple of things here and there. Oh, and Granny Q gave me a little card for points for her giveaway stuff. And then she also gave me, she made some brownies with green chilies in them. So spicy Colorado stuff. All right, or New Mexico stuff, really. Okay, I'm back. Your ad break is very long. Oh, don't worry. It pays the bills. Thank you for watching. All right. So yeah, that's just, a couple of bits and bobs. And I got Xylo. Oh, hang on here. Let me grab. And we got Xylo's signature on the hat.
This year has marked a turning point in
Nice.
Star Citizen's history.
All right, it's time.
We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once.
Sound good?
It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next Star Citizen would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and
Hopefully,
bordering
Bracer.
threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month.
So
Star
Nyx
Citizen's
next month
third
is
system
incredible.
comes
That's
online in
absolutely
Alpha
insane
4.4.
timing.
2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and
I was one of
countless
them.
others springing up in communities everywhere.
Oh,
and
God
all
damn it.
happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
No, I need to get my goddamn. So yeah, all my lights and stuff are in the other room because I took them to the goddamn event in case I needed them. So all my green screen shit is all off key. So Nyx looks pretty cool. There's the paladin.
With the foundational technology now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition,
the combined arms stuff looks great.
We're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year,
basically it's not 100% ready yet, but that's not going to stop us from giving it to you now.
Or the Lazarus Complex. We will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro.
Oh my god.
We feel
Jesus.
This gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis throwing the Empire into
ASD,
chaos, and you all
the
jumping
asshole
in
science
to help
division.
the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Meller of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered, the United Empire of Earth, the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw an opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
So lots of asteroids.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal.
Light, yay!
But They've fallen onto hard times. So Nix today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Yeah, with Nix being so close to Vandal's space,
you're
kind of hard not to need the
angles in a weird way.
UEE Navy.
What is this system bringing?
And yeah,
to
next
the
month
gallery?
for Nix.
How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from
I'm pretty sure there are going to be some Vandal raiding missions.
Kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
I'm pretty sure that they had some sort of exterior cargo stuff in the PTU from what I heard.
Stanton Star is quite neutral.
I don't know if it's active or working yet, but there's some hints of it there.
The system has its star.
Thank you, Deadly Donut, for following, man. I appreciate that.
Really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud, and it has points
Oh
of light.
shit! Follower goal met 2,900.
Those
Thank you
points of
guys.
light
Hell
in
yeah!
this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nix is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light.
Hello there.
The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
Cool. So, red skies.
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out
those dangerous
some
stuff.
sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light.
Wouldn't it be the opposite? You know what? Whatever.
For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
That's fine.
We want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
I was about to say, having them like connect all 3 systems while they're just testing everything, that's totally fine. Until they actually get Castra in, I could care less about it, you know, not connecting in the right spot.
Asteroid
so
belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested, because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nyx are a bit more sharp, like sort of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like.
So I'm assuming that we're gonna get like the latest rock and asteroid tech with
the big
Nyx.
differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for...
I love the dichotomy of chat here. Carrier mining heaven, yes. Orion, please. And then this guy, I hate mining. Just right below those two, I fucking hate mining.
We're trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes.
Where's the PvP?
Always feel
now where do you
way
want
more
this hot
interesting
rocket?
flying into spaces than
Wow,
just, you know,
that's a big one.
And as we build out the Glacier,
Is it in?
lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by
Delamar.
the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Good old Levski. Now it's an actual hunk of rock and not a small spheroid.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
I can't wait to check out Borehole
It's gonna be
Station.
the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location.
So this is basically their biggest asteroid, smallest planetoid.
Towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it. It's scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski's immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid.
I love the design.
You'll also see growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before, we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to...
Ugh, what a cool fucking place.
Of the asteroid, you will see that.
And then that's where all the
there's an
cargo
area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in whole sea gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's now going to be fully EVA-able.
And that's pretty
there
cool.
There will be walkways around the main landing zone to walk on.
Like it'd be an open EVA kind of MMO area.
Drift
the
off
first of its kind, really.
Go wherever you want.
Whee.
They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
Hello there.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
We've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker
and was being worked to death. All of them were.
He was really shitty at his
Anthony
job.
Tanaka just
Am I
had a
right?
break and just said no, and stood up against the
Go
foremen,
union bosses?
supervisors, the managers, the guards.
Oh, am I on the
and
wrong
was
side of
killed
this?
for it.
Okay.
And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other things that you need. So if you were to die in the Nix system, then one of the places you might come out from is the hospital in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
It didn't look like a good hospital
so if you were
there.
to die
Hang
in the
on.
Nix system, then one of the places you
This
might
guy's
come
all
out
holding
from
his bullet
is the
wound still.
hospital in
It's like,
Levski,
oh,
which
they
is called
turned
the
me
Mercy
away.
Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski. Anybody traveling through the system, again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
Wonder how the Grand Barter's
And that
changed.
includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there. If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach's Ship Shop is
Teach's
basically
Ship
where
Shop,
you would go
yeah.
if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some new parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers.
That's good. That
Another
makes
new
sense.
area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the
Refinery.
deck for Levski.
Of course.
That's where you can take your
They didn't have
processed goods, not
refinery
just from
gameplay
Levski,
back
but
then.
from the rest of the Nix system, and refine and sell those goods there.
Hello there.
As a lot of the content in the next coming releases for Nix is going to be mining related.
So
it's
lots of
super
mining
important
updates.
that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us?
So yeah,
build it
it's
around
not going to
them?
be complete.
Add a
We're
nice
definitely
dynamic
getting like a half-baked
to
system.
Stanton,
But we get a
and
new
be much
system.
more calming of style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Hooray! Yay! something wicked comes this way. Vandal?
So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about the Glacian Belt, but you're probably asking yourself,
Necromorphs
what's the
in the
new gameplay
chat.
activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly
That's
for
that
the
like
Navy. The
sniper
Navy just
armor
doesn't
that's
call up random
ridiculous
citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions.
Okay, so
Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal
defense
tech
mission
is in the NIC system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going
this
through
is the trench
Glacian
run,
Belt,
right?
And slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way
they didn't
into
want to
the
make a new
system as
station
the system
type.
was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV Planetary Services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to?
I was going to say, what's going on
Away
here?
from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
So this is where the Vandal raids, right? Yes. Oh, this is all prepping us up and getting us ready for Squadron 42, baby.
For the first time in the PU, the Vandal.
So the Vandal are a nomadic, very, very, very violent
size
spacefaring
5
race.
guns.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nyx system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're
very cool,
unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
Stinger looks cool as shit. Very, very cool.
Contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight.
Fight!
This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vanduul aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense.
Yeah.
The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back.
So I wonder if they're actual Vanduul. I wonder if they're actual Vanduul ships, or if they're like Asperia Nova, or if they're the Asperia variants. If they're like actual Vanduul like NPCs inside of them, you know? Like that's really curious. I wonder if we could actually see some Vanduul.
After you fight off the Vanduul ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersec sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
Well, they didn't like me at all.
Immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the
this is just a warm-up
of what exactly is going on there, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They will be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new
I do like the new weapons.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersec, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vanduul attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby.
Oh
with obvious
shit!
installations
Whoa,
there.
whoa!
You're going to get to explore some
Did you
new
see that?
areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's
That's a fucking thingy. What are those called? It's the Vanduul boarding ships that like attach into your the drillers. They have like a crew of like 2 to 3 Vanduul that like fuck shit up and they like pierce through your armored hull. Man, some shit went down here.
asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there. Other forces that the Vanduul have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vanduul are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
Loot,
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell.
Driller,
maybe
yeah,
even give to
yeah.
Wicklow.
That's what I thought.
This isn't just a one-time event. This is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game. You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster. There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersec will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersec.
More of the dichotomy in chat. See here. I love Wicklow. Wicklow is fun. Please kill Wicklow. Let me shoot Wicklow.
Intersec along the way.
I'm super excited to finally see the Vanduul in the PU.
I'm excited to bring cool Vanduul ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander where you get to fight the Vanduul swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
Anybody get a stinger?
It's a great milestone for us for
They selling
not
those
only
yet?
pushing hard and adding great content this year. We're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the
I was there.
teams have
I was
been
at a
doing
watch
this year.
party.
And I'll be
That
right
was
back
me.
in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone.
This place looks fucking cool.
And welcome to the
I need to
Voyager
get a studio
Bar in
tour
beautiful
here.
scenic Orizon, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own Citizencon Direct
Stargarita.
watch party. As the dozens of such events happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone.
Yeah, I hear that
was
is a
really
big,
good,
big
everybody.
hunk
I'm
of
Jared
garbage.
Huckabee, your host for the festivities.
If it had more
and for the show
HP,
today. And
maybe.
let me tell you, it's not a joke. It's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months, and then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nix system. And in case you missed it because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe
True
said at the
Paladin,
start of the
though.
show,
That
the
Paladin.
foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using hashtag Citizencon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a Citizencon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show
Shiv is made for
countdown.
Chachi.
The offerings were
You saw that
super
bucket and
varied.
you thought of
The
me.
idea
I'm
was
disgusted.
to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right.
Next.
I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now.
Yeah, I heard that Chris was going to be at Switzerland.
So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say. Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing.
Rushed
Nix
it out.
arrives next month.
It was in
It'll
the
have
vertical
Levski,
slice.
the Placium belt, and
Like
the new Welcome
7
to Nix
years ago.
operation we just discussed.
It's just been
But
a
throughout
side asset that
2026,
they,
we'll also
had in their
continue
back
to build the
pocket.
Star System out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nix apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling star systems, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now, at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers up for some brand new music from the maestro Pedro himself. And let's take a look at some of what the next year has to offer for the Nix system.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology. And through the development of
Fart inspires the best technology? What? Weird saying, but sure, all right.
that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When
Even better
Genesis
fart.
comes to the
Okay.
persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world. And not just in the building of the new planets for the Nix system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology.
Previously, and more today, we create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves.
So this is basically
nature in the most believable way.
Instead of, so if I understand Genesis correctly, which is what we're about to talk about, instead of it being, let's say, if you're taking No Man's Sky, for example, a random algorithmic based, planetary surface tech generation system, it is actually a biome based system that goes off of height map, temperature, resources, and all sorts of other factors that are determined by the planet's, surface, crust, and all sorts of other things that then build up on top of it the actual surface features, so to speak. So, yeah. And for people who are wondering, there's some sort of thing that this Dosh Doshington on YouTube said, and it was kind of why I never liked No Man's Sky. Like, especially in the beginning when it was really, really apparent. They've definitely gotten a lot better at it now, but like, even if you have like trillions and trillions of worlds that are randomly created by the same algorithmic engine, like here, you know what? I will show you. Just a little side tangent. All right, static images. Right, okay, so each planet in No Man's Sky is unique. There's over trillions or hundreds of billions of them, right? Is that what we're getting at? Open image in a new tab. So this is random static. That is completely unique from this random static. And yet, the exact two images are the fucking same, right? So just because you are unique does not mean that you are inherently different. I want that to be absolutely clear. And this is why I had such a big problem with No Man's Sky, is because you could see the algorithm, you could see the matrix, the static, behind every single planet that you visited early on. It's a lot better now, but if you want like actual customs planets, like you need something more in depth to create the surfaces on them without having to literally do it by hand. Oh, dude, Jammer, thank you so much for 19 months. Hell yeah, man. No Man's Sky is a mile wide and a foot deep. Yeah. So.
And not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
So now their artists will be able to make incredibly detailed surfaces, but without having to actually make them. The system will make them, and not an algorithm.
We've made a complete paradigm shift.
I'll let him explain.
Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few.
These cliffs. Ooh, look at this valley.
You can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new
Oh, that
tools
looks
still
cool.
give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA. With
Dude, look at the
Genesis,
clouds and
we
the
can now
rain.
keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides the quantity. Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home. Now I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
Perfect. Great.
Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system. Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic, festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology, in some cases because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them.
Hello there.
So, let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit. The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove the orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed
I have
to look
no
like
clue
vegetation that we'd placed
as far
on the
as
surface.
resources go.
Ground coloring was trying to be a
We
mix
just know
of
where
soil,
they'll
rock,
be
and
at.
organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there.
Stop the fucking...
Now we author much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season.
Yep,
This
especially you could
creates a
literally look and be
far
like,
more
yeah, there's
complete
definitely going to
image
be some stuff there.
and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space.
You're like, yeah, that's some good mining right
Let's
there.
go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light. When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes.
Oh.
They also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale, and allows us
look
to
like the
create
grass
far more unique locations across the planet.
and like little bits and plants that are like,
So now
oh,
that we've
that's
nailed the
really,
surface,
really good.
Let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got 2 major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs.
Cliffs
we are
looking
adding large
good.
scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for each large and medium tile, now rock distribution makes sense.
Oh,
and has a
thank
physical
God.
basis.
As a Daymar Rally enthusiast, let me tell you.
So if you're still
this is
crashing
going to be
into them
helpful.
after this comes out, that's on you. The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source.
Oh, very cool. So it's not the
This
same
ties
rock
into how we're
everywhere.
distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
The grass looks so good.
So now that our base terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes. Nyx 1's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland type biomes.
Oh, very cool.
And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today. So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and
They really like
shading
this
grass.
mountain valley area.
With Genesis, we now leverage GPU spawning to create vast quantities of assets across all biomes, whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands.
Oh, those wetlands look so
We are
cool.
also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we can finally cover complex terrain shapes with grass and ground cover assets, and as a result, they are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect and not sticking out like before.
That's cool.
Next, let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface.
Yeah. Yeah.
This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us
It gives more
nicely
volume
to how we're solving
to
the
it.
distant representation of grass.
Get out of my swamp.
So let's talk about the distance problem. One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, How can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales.
Okay.
This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes.
Oh, very good.
Those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps.
So it looks like Nix 1 is going to be a test bed for the new Genesis tech for
forget about
Terra.
the swamps. And they're coming to Nix 1 as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you
So
today.
it's filled with water because it's low lane, not because they put water there.
Ground coverage. And I think it creates something really unique. Anyway, that's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nix 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create.
Wait a minute, wait, what was that?
And believability.
To sculpt the identity of Nix 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
Next year, Nix 1. Next year, Nix
As you can see,
1.
Genesis is
So
now
we'll have
inspiring
Borehole Station in
everyone here
Levski
to
next
create
month.
planets of the
But next year is when we'll get the
quality
planets.
and believability we've always strived for. And meeting of technology and art.
There'll be some sort of reason why it will be a big old shithole, like radiation or some shit.
And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally.
Oh yeah, and inter-system
Now,
travel.
Our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place
Intra-system
in the
mission
system. A Pyro mission has to take place there.
Nix
We've
tier
never been able
0,
to
yeah,
link
Nix
these
tier
together,
-1, really.
But with the introduction of our third
Because it's
star
like
system, it's
a remade Levski, which we already had.
with the introduction
It's not even
of
new.
interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said Holly was gone. He doesn't even play the game.
So yeah, I look
These
forward to
are
these new
exactly
hauling
what
missions.
the
These will be cool.
Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo
old stock, yeah.
between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton.
Looks like it's exterior loading. No more auto loading, unloading.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake Cutter myself, between Stanton and Nix.
Just a Drake Cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake Cutter is really cute, so.
Yeah, no, it's completely
One thing that we're looking
different,
to
but
add
still.
with these interstellar missions
Don't even have the
is
new
scripted
planetary
combat
tech with the new
encounters where
system.
you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems, just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
At the start of the show, we said we was going to build out the Nix system right in front of you after 4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself, in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations.
We haven't seen the new ships yet. We just knew the Stinger for the Vandulas here. Oh, I remember this though, the Cracker. I can't wait for this. This looks sick.
Okay, so Rock Cracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rock Cracker is where you have to crack a rock.
It's basically Hathor in space.
You want more?
So way out into the Kiga Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
So if they use the instancing tech for these, this will be a great way to just go have fun with the boys. Crack a rock, make some money.
Breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned, so you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long forgotten tunnels.
Hello there.
Or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and find the old engine room.
I already saw it. Look.
Now, there may be ways to bring
these little things right there. Little from the ASD science mission. You do the pipe repair first, and then you go up to that little area where the giant worm is, or the bigger worm, not the giant one. Then you put those little canisters into the things, and they go down. That's what those are right there. Little plasma charge thingies.
Back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
So you've found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then
Very
you'll be able
cool.
to fly your ship inside.
I like the triangle laser.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start.
So it looks like it's going to be a geode type situation where the inside of it is like, you know, got all these crazy minerals and stuff. So it's hollow. And it cracks a couple of holes
I'm really
into
excited
it.
about Rockcracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration.
It'll be a group job. There's no way it'll just be tiny
And
little
don't
solo
mind a
dudes
little bit of
hitting
FPS
this.
content while there.
This will definitely be a party or org event. And with the instancing tech, I could see this being
It will be very new experience compared to any other asteroids because this one kind of
I
like.
don't know. I hope that they add the instancing tech for stuff like this.
Show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of scratch in an asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics
This will
and
probably have like
features that we want
special
in the game for
minerals.
1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
I like it. I like it.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all 3 systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures inhabited.
If they're anything like the
by those
ASD's
trying
facility,
to
there'll
make
be
their
like
way
40
in
or
this.
50 of them throughout Nyx.
All of this
and
in service of building
you'll be hopping
star systems that complement the
to
massive
many of them,
corporate
finding
Yard
shut
of
down
Stanton,
ones that are
lawless
broken
ganking of Pyro, and now the
before you
new
can actually get
frontier
one to
of
work,
discovery
like the executive
of the Nyx
hangars.
system. Should I say ganking?
You already did.
Good job, everyone. So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockcracker. Rockcracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're gonna fly into an asteroid and do that thing that miners love more than anything else. Complain about PvPers getting in their way.
And
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
being
I was
told
about
it's
to say,
money.
I was just thinking if you do instance, then that'll
And of
just be
course,
the money
one of the
maker.
most
You
anticipated
need to
features
balance
coming
it
to
out
Star
somehow to
Citizen
have it risk
Genesis,
versus
and
reward.
what that means for the planets
So
of
yeah,
Star
solo
Citizen,
version that gives
including
out
the
like
ones already
1/5
in
the
there.
amount of
So let's
reward
talk to
that's
Will Hain
instance,
and
and
find
then the
out more.
PvP version that's high risk, high
Just remembering
reward
that Will Hain is in France
gives
at
the big
watch party.
payout.
Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got?
Some fjords.
Citizencon digital goodies
Hello
pack.
there.
That's a hard thing to say. That went up for sale a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items in it.
Did you guys
And
get
that's what I
the
can tell you now, that
digital
almost all
Citizencon goodies
of them
pack?
hide in the
I got a
Nyx
goodies
system,
pack.
One way or another. So let's find out what's actually in there. There's a gunship flight suit and helmet. 2 armor sets from that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with the Van Duel, and an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the Van Duel to Star Citizen,
Van Duel
cool Van Duel
plushie.
knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah, it's a pretty solid haul for this year's digital goodies pack.
Oh,
which
what do you
still
mean?
pick up
Everything
right
in
now
it
on
for
the
you.
RSI
Everything's
store.
a collectible.
So now let's go ahead.
This
and
game gets
transition into our
1.0
next
and everybody's gonna like,
Much
oh,
of
where'd
what
you get
see
that
in the
Van
show
Duel
today has
plushie?
been the culmination of a lot of people's work in. What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once.
Yeah.
Okay, so against everyone's better judgment, the thing has finally happened. Can I help you?
How you think the show's going?
Good. We're getting the Nyx star system and the Van Duel are coming.
Kind of been a lot of Nyx, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone and it deserves a major showcase celebrating
Yeah,
everybody's hard work. And
You got more, right?
well, yeah, there's spaceships coming out.
Cool.
Wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning in PCAP does.
Well, this has been super cringe. So I'm gonna head out.
Bye.
Oh, regular Citizencon is still better. You should have done that.
Of course. Thank you. Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet. All right.
Okay. Okay.
No. Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
I was about to say, let's just go to the next bit.
Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the Vehicle Director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe. The The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period, and we've covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to capital ships.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
We had the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in without none of you expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf is pretty
Obviously,
sick.
a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favourite, to be honest, because we've released, a lot of really cool ships.
Next year, we've got some super exciting ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're going to see, again, maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships, should we say.
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting.
So we get Ironclad next year. We get Kraken.
And Anvil Aerospace.
Hopefully, as well.
Anvil is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and lore, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace, designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to stay in a sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game that are true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to
That's a lot of
control in
gun.
the game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously, a very
Was that based off the Valkyrie then?
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's
Not
coming
really. It's
towards
got a
you,
little
when
bit
it's just
different
sat
shape.
still, and I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got
Okay,
these
that's
really
pretty
nice
cool.
kind of dual-connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the co-pilot.
So you've got full 360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with
Yeah,
it.
based on
And then
absolutely
the side
nothing.
turrets also
Yep.
have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have
Yeah, I think
between
they'll-
the turrets pretty much 360 coverage in all
If they don't
directions.
have Ironclad out for Christmas this year, then definitely Ironclad for next year.
One of the unique things about the
For
Paladin is all the turrets
Invictus,
are
and then
remote
I could
and all the
see
crew are located
maybe
in this
Kraken if
one
things go
central
well.
2-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the
All
Paladin,
guns,
you're all
disruption,
sat
cannons,
together
Jesus.
With a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot.
I do like
co-pilot
that
at the top, you've got the
everybody's
gunners
all in the
underneath,
main
and I think
area.
That helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to
I
keep
love the
two
glass
connected.
floor.
I think that really helps with the feeling that you're all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do. Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into this sort of armory ready room area. You have a variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates.
Okay.
Forward of that is the route to the lower
But how
gunners,
easy to get
and
those
then
crates in and out of there?
upstairs, You have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup, so something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship, the Paladin.
Okay, I could see, yeah.
Make sure it's safe.
It's got the front end of the Valkyrie.
Basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the
But the
Paladin
back end's
is
definitely changed.
that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions. You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners.
To ease of cargo loading and unloading, we've made all
One
doors
toilet,
smaller.
everyone's got the same
And rails
size
on every single
When they're at
hull.
work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you call that, you like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Hello there. Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're
The toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia.
Yes.
Hesperia are a high-end manufacturer. They specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
Because of course. We got to sell that to the human market.
Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot-tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
The Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
Got 6 guns?
Packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft.
Except it's
Firepower
not.
is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling. With
Yeah, that's
big guns
crazy.
and taking all the hits. One thing Hesperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single-size 5 gun.
Because it was too well
4
integrated
4s,
into
2
the whole,
2s,
even
and
for
1
Hesperia.
5. Oh my
All
god.
the additional weapons are
What is up with the
generic
2
mounts. They can
2s?
be
Why
swapped
even?
with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game. By doing this, provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Hesperia wanted for the civilian market. For
That's
that one
crazy.
bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling.
Oh,
But
okay,
underneath it
very
is
cool.
The same weapon that people have used for years.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU.
Nah, set that size 5 to a separate
this
button.
really well-established art
Have it
style
just be a cannon
and,
chunker.
Add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. It connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
You can tell it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility out the front.
I was about to say, this looks really cool out of that thing.
A little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and it leads you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's, lots of organic detail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
I love how he's got a crime stat going in here.
Comes down towards you, and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being carried inside.
That's ridiculous.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
Well, so yeah, two size ones. That's ridiculous.
Done a really good job of making something that feels different. It feels alien, but it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal.
Cool, so that size 5 is on the left.
But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people
What's up, Intersane?
Items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who are.
It's a gray market ship.
And
Get it?
I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
We got Drake at home.
So the Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
Released onto the web store without a gold pass,
At first
you mean?
glance at the exterior of the Shiv, I think most people will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of a cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Even the bits that are obviously a cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside where, again, it sort of feels cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters.
I was about to say, it's got an extra set of thrusters on it.
A set of belly thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever, with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
A bucket. Ye old bucket.
Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing. How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
Good name too, Shiv.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
So it's just got a turret and then 2 guns? It's not really a lot of weaponry. If it lost
Gray
2
goes to places and talks
on the
to
bottom.
people. I mean, you know, there are just many ways to find these things that, you know, I mean, are they legitimate, you know, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not.
Oh,
but,
all
you know,
pilot controlled. Oh, okay. Well, that's not horrible.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it, don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it. I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm. They just want something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really strong, to be honest. And it's absolutely
Agile as a Hornet. It does have extra thrusters.
I'm happy with the 3
It should have more acceleration, not agility, though.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement, and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see.
But the Cuddy's supposed to have armor.
The shenanigans that
The Drake ships are very heavily
so that's talking
armored.
ship for another year.
They don't have armor in the game. But yes, Cuddy is paper thin right now.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year. So we have to throw it over to Alexi for talking weapons, which is extremely original
But it's
name.
based on the hull. Like 90% of the hull is a Drake ship. Not like you just remove the frame when you have that much of it, which is the armor.
I'm talking about the new edition that come out in October. The non-weapons are essentially the weapons that does not have a manufacturer, the weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of like scrappy and take
So
together.
I did
and the
see
most
this
kind of,
part.
like,
This weapon is
pyro-ish
very
weapons
cool.
that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
The Space AK is awesome. It shoots bullets and lasers.
I think this is the one that not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle.
This
that
guy's
basically
denim
fires
jacket
energy
is
and ballistic
quite the thing.
in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy. You'll see on the top of the art, there is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot.
If that
And
counters
is just,
the
like, a
actual-
really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of
If that laser actually counteracts the what do you call
the
it?
LMG, this thing is a really fun slow
Recoil of
firing,
the bullet, then that's just going to be insane.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only
Then a 50
other
cal
weapons that
LMG,
have this
nice.
right now in the verse are the Bearing sniper rifle and the Coda.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Well, yeah, it shoots P6LR rifles rounds, right?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
Yeah, as long as
You
it's
don't
like
have a
decently,
rocket
you know,
launcher
shoots
of
in a straight
this
line, it'll be
caliber.
pretty
It will be
powerful.
3 grenades straight together.
3
that you
grenades.
pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus, because if you've got the tube on your shoulder and you try to aim it, you'd have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aim apparatus for this. And then we realized, like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm gonna hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
Tubular. Oh, and yeah, the binoculars.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this.
Because
in the
game
verse,
needs to have balance.
and I think it will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things, especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously, due to Glintgate, as I usually internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances. And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really
Luke
cool
Skywalker had some of
that allow you
these.
to spot people from distances.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Depends on how you throw them.
That rocket launcher looks pretty
Alexi and
interesting.
Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year. So that's talking ship and weapons, unless anyone else is going to come and tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Nice, nice. All right, cool. I think there's going to be ad break here. We're going to let ad break play, and then we'll get back to the rest of it. The last third. Boom, perfect timing. All right, BRB. And you know what? While we're waiting, here, I'll just do this. You guys can watch this again. BRB. Okay. So glad that we're done with the event. Technically, I don't really have to keep up with shaving my head anymore. And I think I might even just not shave until we get VR support. But also, I hate itchy beards and itchy necks, so probably not.
Well. That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the verse. And they're all available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three. So you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch.
What else can I shill?
We've got these cool new Levski desk mat things.
Oh, that's
These are always
cool.
popular. There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelo's Emporium t-shirt. Yeah.
Everybody hates
There's also
him.
a page published earlier today with a bunch of links to offerings from our third-party partners, from Eyetrackers to gaming chairs to voice packs to spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I shill? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski-themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Here we go. Excuse me. Hi, how you doing? Hey, that was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so
yeah, that was
is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants. If the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Dusters armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here, got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna go over here. Can you see me?
If that's the actual interior, that is a long flight bay.
So yeah,
flight bay.
What are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016 where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over here. Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine. Yeah. Do devs deserve
Stargarita is awesome.
Deliciousness? I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition winners. Competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, competition winners. Remember the competition for the Citizencon winners? The people made the videos, and we gave them a Kruger L21 Wolf. We actually have the names. They're behind me. Look. Oh. All right, that's cool. Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got. Oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see. There's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just combine them into like a Challenger situation here? That's a Citizencon throwback if you're not familiar with it. So I have now crafted my own pizza experience. And that is a terrible segue into our next segment.
Let's say, and
Gemma,
then let's talk about crafting.
Gemma, you there?
Yes, Jared.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
We sure can. Go, BT.
All right, crafting.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always
craft
be
dinner.
an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever ways you want. But that doesn't mean we can't
still don't
shape
have
parts
pizza
of
in the
universe
verse.
here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials of different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons and armor. For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve, and those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress in Star Citizen. Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items. It's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, do we all just get a free crafting machine to test with?
Higher quality.
And yeah, as much as I wanted base building, I assume we're going to see that next year when they actually have something to show for it.
You can use them to craft, and the different attributes will be increased.
I bet you we'll get base building with Levski or Nick's one.
It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have in your inventory.
Where's your inventory rework?
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones.
Is coming
Those will pass
as a
the quality
system
through
that has
into the refined
Levski.
materials.
Next 1, next 2, and next 3 are coming next year.
And start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator.
UI placeholder.
This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's Citizencon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources to different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced sometime later. You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most
they
landing
literally
zones.
just said
You'll be able to bring
Genesis.
it
I
up
can't
on your
wait to
freight
show
elevator
you.
and use it
They
in your personal
literally
hangar, or
said in
tractor
the
beam it
Genesis
around.
demo, I can't wait to show you all the new biomes and stuff coming in Nix 1 next year. We get Levski next month. We get the planets next year. That is exactly what they said.
And stick it on a ship if you want
We
to
are
use
not
it for
getting
that.
Genesis this year. And yeah,
There'll be
it's
a small
UI straight
amount
out of a
blueprints you
mud.
get credited to your account just to
Like, they
test
might
and
have
mess
that
around,
gas
but the
giant,
vast
but that's not
majority
really a
of them will be
planet.
earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
Yeah, but why would
The
you
advantage
waste?
of crafting your own item.
Okay, so now you're saying that they've developed the planet and then they're going to go back and then develop the planet again when they get Genesis online? No, that's double the work. You make the planet when Genesis is ready. Like that, you don't do double the work because this is like, you know, an alpha and we're trying to squeeze every little bit of performance out of it as possible. Sounded like Stanton, early Pyro, the planets were there, but you couldn't fly to. Exactly, right? There's no way that we're gonna get all 3 planets. Like maybe the gas giant and Levski, yeah, but there's no way we get Genesis. They literally said Genesis and Nyx 1 next year. So maybe Nyx 2. But we are not getting Genesis without getting a whole planet around it. They're not going to just make a planet without Genesis because that's so much extra work involved. A whole planet? Are you kidding me? And Levski, yeah, I know. Levski is a tiny little meteor. That's barely even an asteroid.
Is that they'll be better.
And that's easy to do. They've had that done. They showed us that last year. They had Borehole Station fully filmed at Citizencon.
You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable
getting
for
some
us as
basic
devs to
weapons and armors
get
in a
the
little
metrics
tiny
in,
crate
get the
thing.
feedback in.
I guess
because
every single
then we can
person
make
gets
changes that
a crafter crate.
They only become obvious, so to speak.
Oh, do you think everybody gets one, or are they going to make us go buy one for like 20K or something?
Using it, so I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on tech preview by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can
tech
release it when it's
preview,
ready.
so it won't even be. But when it comes in the verse, we'll probably have to buy it.
So that's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
Oh, instancing tech. Yay. Very cool.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy. PvP me, bro.
Yeah.
But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression.
Yeah, if the ASD's facilities were fully instanced, get my speed run on all day and night.
Groups with a difficulty,
I mean, it still do,
the group
but
size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangars, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition
quantum jump
is just like...
So this is the coolest part that I think is being mentioned here, is quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. That is huge for group and org gameplay in space.
Like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the
Using the
universe,
dynamic
we will
meshing.
be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join
Zenra Whitefang, thank you so much for doing the voodoo that you do.
Some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the
See that
power of
elevator
the
shot
entire
point of
mesh.
view was using the eye
closed ones
tracking?
join
No.
in first. We will be instances.
What do you mean, what
There'll be also a
elevator?
quantum hanger,
Oh, you
meaning
mean,
that when you
yeah,
take an
that.
instances that allow you to instance on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
It's going good. Oh, thank God. Siege of Orison
was an event we did
yes,
previously.
Instance for an org or group play. Oh, that's fucking sick.
Run through and progress through contested islands of Orison. This was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and make it better for you in a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about a 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire.
That'd be me.
Some of you might sit at the back
that new
and be
50
the sniper
callus
and pick people off a little bit further
LMG
to make the advance easier. Some of you will be
It is
medic
instanced
who
version of
sole
Siege
job
of
is going
Orison.
to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them.
What's this
And,
diving
some of you will
helmet?
further to make the
What
advance
helmet is
easier.
that?
Some of you will be the medic.
What is
who
this guy 20,000
sole job
leagues
is
under the
going to be
sea?
revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them. And some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people.
15 to
when
30.
we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a
Ooh, and if
instance
it's
that you
if
could
it's
go in and play
instance,
solo,
you could do
or
speed
if
runs of
was
it.
a public event that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
I'm excited, to say the least, to bring back Siege of Orison to Star Citizen and to sort of have it be one of the first tests that we have for instancing and really get it back to sort of a core experience point where it should be. So while the next season is quite heavily focused on Nyx, I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems as well.
Siege of Orison is going to be really fun. I loved Siege of Orison. I always question the use of a tank on orbital platforms, but whatever.
Interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Orison, and more will reveal next year will continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works.
Oh, the Municipal Works.
So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and more structural place, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Not everybody has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have
something
stopped
to do
working.
down there.
Everything's going to quite literally.
I was about to say, the Area 18 is still definitely going to happen. They're just
to go into
I think they're using this as a because they need to make Levski, need to make a new system for Nyx, need to give it in our hands. There needs to be something to do there. So they're using that as a test bed for the eventual Area 18 sewers that are going to be dungeons.
It still works in Levski, but you know they have like maybe
exactly. Nyx needs something to do
properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Poop mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like some vents. It's like a free layered system where there's 3 chapters.
This will be mission driven and repeatable. Everything from mining to
literally
salvage,
labeled
to combat,
repair
to investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's
this
a
is
real
very,
sandbox.
very early
Every
work in
progression we do
progress.
will unlock a new area.
Reminds me of
that
some
will link back
Counter-Strike
to
maps I
previous
played.
areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression, but it'll be the instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group. So you're going to be able to play a part of it, make your progress, and then log off. And then the next time you come online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow players to return back to it at different states depending on how much you've progressed and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own.
We're back. How you doing, Schlump?
Ability to jump through them faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Hello there.
But yeah, what you up to, Schlump? Oh, is it any news about VR support? No real new news about VR support. But everybody had fun enjoying the VR.
So that's a brief look at.
Real quick, I'll So we had Grandma Q come and check out the VR cockpit, and she hopped around in there and was flying and stuff, so that was all cool. And then we also got a sweet little time lapse of the event that I made. Which, yeah, it was great. Did anyone get sick? No. I had a trash can next to the cockpit just in case, but nobody needed it. So, yeah, very good stuff. But yeah, it was fun. Everybody enjoyed it. Before the video camera dies and all the people filing in and out. Yep. No, I was surprised at how well the whole thing went. So, yeah.
Some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent
unfortunately,
that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find...
Unfortunately, Xylo had a funeral or a wedding or something to go to the next weekend, so he couldn't really touch or interact with anybody, which is why he refused to get into the chair. And yeah, I couldn't really find any other CIG devs that weren't busy running around talking to everybody to hop in. But hopefully soon you know, some events that might be coming up. Maybe we could take it down to. Maybe we could actually get some of them in the chair at that time. But yeah, everybody loved it though.
Find some social media.
If they
stuff
we're
on,
messing
on
around
Twitch,
and flying
though,
in it, then they were watching
Twitter,
the big
X,
giant
what is it called
screens
now? Let's see
that
what
it was
this
attached
says.
to.
Let's see, we've got
So
welcome back Levski from. I'm not wearing my glasses. Oh no. Oh, time to suit up. Let's go get him, says Ubu. I really should have worn my glasses. Cue the bagpipes. That's the other game, Charlie Oscar. Let's see. Nice to see you live, Jared. Mom? Let's see. First Citizencon after playing for almost a decade in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Leicester? Leicester? I probably.
Leicester?
I've been only in the UK for 3.5 years. San Jose Bar Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there. Before we get to our big finale, or the thing we're going to wrap up the show with today, I did want to talk a little bit about big Citizencon versus digital Citizencon versus what we're doing today, which is Citizencon Direct. Every year,
no. It only works with offline Arena Commander.
It's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams. Everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off, hopefully without a hitch. And so far, we've been doing all right, other than some stuff in the room here. You know who you are. They had to know. But doing Citizencon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage of some of the more candid moments from the filming of Citizencon over the last couple weeks. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and take a look at that. Let's see what they put together.
How many Citizencons have you performed in now?
Performed? Just the one. Nope, my first one.
One last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9? Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was completely terrified.
It was good, a bit stressful.
The first live one, I was a mess.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to insane lows.
Live ones.
Because?
It's over.
Because it's over?
The live ones are pretty special.
Pre-samp's always fun, but the live events are special, aren't they?
Remember we were at that weird crack house in Ancos?
Hello there.
Hi.
I like the live ones. I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it has been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
Is it because you have a restraining order against you, or?
Didn't know if I was going to be sick, if I was going to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
That's another problem with the lights. They're kind of, I'm realizing through this sentence that I'm closing my eyes as I speak. Do I do that a lot?
I am a very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my shell.
Getting the crowd to react to the ideas that we've been working on for so long.
We can react. Watch. Everybody. Yay!
I can feel your passion from here.
Cut the camera. Counting you down, like, you've got 30 seconds. I'm like, do I stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink? Do I not? Do I talk?
This will be the best one.
I don't know what to do what hands.
It's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could do different.
No. Of all your nicknames, why is Moist Master your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good. Could do
all
with
right.
one.
Let's get started.
So for those of you watching at home or at the watch parties, you're like, why are we showing that? I put that in there because I'm eternally grateful for all of the CIG staff and developers who take the time to appear on these things, whether it's ISC, SCL, Citizencon, walk on stage, be pre-recorded. It's not the easiest thing for everybody. And on behalf of the community, if I can speak for them in this regard, I want to say thank you for participating in these things each and every year that we have them. Now, let's wrap things up here. So let's see, how do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got one major story left to tell.
And don't worry,
before we do
Schlump.
that,
Sooner than later.
We wanted to do one more check-in on something we started last year. Last year, Rich
They're
Tyler
still
took the stage
looking
and presented his
for last few
roadmap
engine
to 1.0.
upgrades,
And we
and
didn't
then
want
I
to go
think
an
they'll be
entire
ready.
year without talking to the senior game director himself to get his update on that 1 year later. So we're going to throw it to him, and we're going to go to our last segment, and when we come back, we'll say our goodbyes. And if you're at a watch party, it's time to get. I was going to say, that's not a word I can say on the camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago. Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyrer took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we end this year's Citizencon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year. To do as we've done today.
Well, months is better than years, Schlumpf.
So,
everybody thinks it's going to be years away for VR. I think it'll be
so we're going to
months.
jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to
Well,
ask
I
you
think we
outright,
might be,
what's changed about the
dare I say, able to get it before Squadron 42.
Nothing.
Maybe.
It still remains our North Star.
Maybe they'll
The
like
team is
come out
busy
at the
working
same
towards
time.
that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenithreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like they're believable and real life locations. And if you look throughout this year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject
Which should have been in a long time ago.
The why to what you are doing as a player. And I think story is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now, that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not have been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months between patches.
Exactly, and I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning in FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But Citizencon isn't Citizencon without talking about the future, so I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story, we've talked about this more diegetic, immersive universe and adding voice lines and stuff like this. But where do we go from here? Obviously that continues, but what more are we going to do to make this universe seem alive and real and breathing?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way.
Hello there.
So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you. Right. You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon.
Oh, that's right. They used to have physical mission givers back in the day. There still should be a couple of them here and there, yeah?
All the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of.
Yeah, that lady in Area 18, that bold fuck out at
cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those
Eckhart, last you checked, was still in Hurston, but didn't do anything.
But rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing?
Instancing mission givers.
Helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially.
That's great.
It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on into the open world environment. So I think that's where, when we look at instancing provides us one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent
if
universe
you
where
thought
everybody
that
can come in
this
and play
game
together.
is
And
going to be worse
it would be
having instances,
easy
you're dead wrong.
to
This is going to be
have
only a better place
first
for it.
instinct reaction to the idea of instancing.
Especially with the
and
fact
say
that you
that's
can never
antithetical
physically
to
conceivably
everything
make
Star
a
Citizen.
single
But you mentioned
layered
last
shard
year these
server
3
across the
pillars
world
of-
due to
of
latency
building Star
issues.
Citizen in the PU. And I want to know, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those 3 pillars?
So
again?
give us instances.
And how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the 3 pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the 3rd pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players to go and engage in. Now, when I talk about instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. We'll be able for you to go in by yourself, for us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment.
Tutorial for an instance tutorial. That's actually a great idea.
But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that there was an instance, it's not going to get a loading screen, you would just seamlessly walk into that location, it would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or curated content, as I'd say. It allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences that we've already made. And it's not to say that we won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0. And all 3 of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to.
What about literally any chat channel?
We've talked about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships. What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to?
Just letting y'all know.
Those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships.
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions. And we want to make sure that each and every one of
working on more mining and refining and refueling missions. Oh, so literally any at all. Got it.
And has a reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them purpose. And I think it's something that we are absolutely aware of. We want
I know the
sure
chat is just getting spam
to allow players to go and engage in. And I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen. And I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for. But rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
He had a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes, combat, cargo, mining.
I love how they said 2 hours and it was like clearly a 3 hour long event.
Is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to
So this
plan
is
and
basically the
strategize
trench run
and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content.
This one I think is the coolest.
Share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, technically it's 2.5 hours because they had this video is 3 hours long, right? But we had half an hour of fucking, you know, wait time in the beginning, right? So technically it's a 2.5 hour presentation.
That team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this space where you will find 3 big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is where you want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets
I love how they're just slapped on the surface there.
They have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Your Polaris and your Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets. But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you
Then you gotta cut the power to the things that give the power to the shields. Then those have shields.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed so that you can't get in.
You have to find them, you have to target them, and you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator. Or even another fighter with ballistics loadout.
Ah, yes, for them to immediately get shot down by tiny little PDC turrets.
Once the power relays have been taken down, the station opens up.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you in your ship.
Death Star 2 trench run.
Structure of this station.
How cool is that?
I feel like this is a proud dad moment. Thank you, Jared.
We're just gonna call it what it is. It's a trench run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Death Star 2
as you enter
run.
the structure, you'll see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out. There's 3 arms to the station that have these trenches. You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
You're either gonna do it multiple times, or you need to bring friends.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
I want rocket pods. Give me rocket pods.
You're gonna have to be able to dodge. You're gonna have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
Hello there.
But why can't I just slowly move through there at like 1 mile an hour? What forces me to fly forward fastly, besides it not being World War II?
So once the cooling units are out, that exposes the core to overheat, which means that you can attack it.
Don't act like the bespoke rocket pods on the turret and one military variant of the Mustang means that we get rocket pods. All right? You shut your goddamn mouth, Jammer. We do not have rocket pods. You can't even take them off of that goddamn thing.
The turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer. Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're gonna get our new feature in: ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're gonna be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and
cool. So ship rearming,
designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those 2 ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has.
Yeah, most people prefer to get bent. They obviously won't be doing it.
Set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of
like, yeah, I get that solo players want to exist and stuff, but you can't be like, hey, I want to do a 40-man raid by myself. Why can't I do this? Get fucked, man. It's a 40-man fucking raid.
So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station?
Like, this is an MMO. Congrats that you can fly stuff solo. That doesn't mean that you will be able to do it for every single thing.
FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station.
And then here's the weird shitty part, is that we'll release the captives from the station. What? NPCs have to follow me and not get stuck on terrain or in a door frame or some shit? No, thank you.
So at this point, all of this sounds
fucking standing T-posing on a chair.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
The Vanduul neighbors, who really don't like these guys for some reason, will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you and the station. They're out for blood.
That's a lot of Vanduul fighters.
Alert the Vanduul by destroying the power core that the station's now vulnerable. You're on a time limit. Vanduul are coming. They're going to come hard. They're going to keep coming. You're going to have one hell of a fight.
So wait, why are we doing this? Did they say why we want to destroy this station? Are we like answering the call of the People's Militia Idris? That they needed help or something? That NPC Idris, we're helping them? Rescue mission, okay. I was about to say, there's no resources or like something that there's nothing delicious or you know, tasty that we got to go steal, right?
Tactical strike groups.
Yeah, combat. Yeah, I get that, but like, who's paying me, right? Like, where's the money?
We created a variety of content. Some of it was very focused on FPS combat. So personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me. This is a defining statement that I want to do in 2026. We're a spaceship game. There are prized possessions. To the objects we fall in love with. This is the content we want to create, which creates scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships. We won't get to all roles initially.
Hello there.
But we should see this as a landmark, a position where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes the use of different ships and scenarios to clear objectives and complete missions in a variety of roles. And in the future, we can use this to expand on. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're gonna be fantastic.
Tac strike groups. First iteration in Nyx. I'm sure there'll be one for Pyro, one for Stanton. We'll get all sorts of flavors. So that'll be cool. That'll be something to do.
Okay. Why do you still have the puppet?
So yeah,
come home. All right, so
I
tactical
think
strike groups.
that 2026 is going to be a great year.
Road for the last,
Not only
last
Squadron
10 years
42, but
been around,
for Star Citizen as well.
We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships.
And yeah, like hopefully, dear God, we'll get like, you know, social tools first before we get fucking.
Hi, Aaron Roberts. Aaron Roberts. But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship.
Yeah, hopefully we get social tools before we get 40-man raids that require social tools.
Dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been Citizencon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. Again, this is just a glimpse at some of what's coming in 2026. I've seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat like, oh, you're spoiling everything. I promise, we ain't. So,
yeah, no, if they kept ASD, Wormbreaker, and Hathor under a lid until the patch that it came out on, I think they'll be fine.
CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from Squadron 42 into the persistent universe, will make next year the most exciting yet for Star Citizen. Finally, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are on an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part.
He is right. There's been less and less studios now than ever before.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
Big ones. A lot of indie studios that are doing very well, but it's because they, you know, have developers that quit from the big ones. So, all right, see you in the verse. I think that's it. Yeah. All right, hell yeah. Well, that is Citizencon Direct, you guys. If you guys are watching at YouTube, thank you for stopping by, hanging out, and doing the voodoo that you do. And yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to the most for next year. Is it any of the stuff you just saw, or is it Squadron 42, or is it VR support? Anyways, thank you so much for doing the voodoo that you do. I'm gonna get up out of here. Till next time, stay safe, fly right. I'm Chachi Sanchez. Y'all have a good night.